Welcome to Widow Too Soon. This is Michelle Bader Ebersole. I'm sitting here with no one. Mark was unable to make it this week, but wasn't it fun having him here last week? Hopefully he'll be joining us, possibly with Tina, in the weeks to come. So I'm super excited about that. Thanks again for all of the prayers. It's been absolutely amazing just to see the recovery. I know some of you said you cried as you listened, and I definitely cried as we were recording because it was, like I was saying, it was so crazy to see him, like, see this miracle right in front of my eyes. And I know you guys have been praying too, and you've seen such a miracle. So, yeah, I am excited to have him come on another episode. So anyways, today, first, we're just going to catch up on what's been going on in my life, but it's not so exciting when it's just me. But I wanted to share a few things. So, this past week was the 4-year anniversary of Luke's death. Crazy. Like, I still cannot even comprehend that it's been 4 years. Like, you guys know what I mean? Like, in some ways, it feels like it was yesterday, right? I can replay the whole day in my head, but then it feels like forever since I've seen Luke or heard his voice, besides on recordings and things like that. And so it was actually, it wasn't my hardest death anniversary. I think the first year was, but it was definitely a little harder than in years past. I'm not exactly sure why. I think it was mostly because it seemed like my kids were having a harder time. So I'll tell you a little bit about what I did on that day. I woke up to Joel telling me that he bought me flowers to take to Luke's grave. So first of all, that made me feel loved and understood that he would get me such a thoughtful gift, because I was going to go get flowers anyways, but that the flowers came from him. So that was huge. And he said, I'm so sorry for your loss and all you've been through, and was just like super, super nice. Then I went to the grave and I did what I always do. I play our song. I talk to him. And to be clear, I know I'm not talking to him. I'm not contacting the dead. It's just a way I deal with it. So I was telling him all about what's going on with the kids and each one of them, and how Haley's about to graduate and how we're wishing he was there, and just all the things. It was interesting. There was another, I guessed she was a widow, and I found out she was, another woman at a grave, a new grave, like a few down from Luke. And she just kept like picking at the flowers, and I just had this feeling. And when she left, I went and checked the grave, and it was a man who had died just maybe a few months ago. So I know this is crazy, but I took a picture of his grave marker, and I'm going to see if I can find her and reach out to her and ask her if she wants to come to our widows events. But anyways, that was just a side note, but it just seemed like there were so many people there. And yeah, so that's something that happened since the last podcast. Oh, what else? That I want to tell you more about that day. So after the grave, it's more out in my old neighborhood where I lived with Luke. And so I just kind of just wanted to be where we used to be. I went to my old, sounds dumb, but like Office Depot. I used to love that store. And then I went to our old Big Lots, and I got my nails done in my old salon, and I drove by our old house, and it does not look as good as it used to. They painted it brown. It was blue. I used to love it. Just staring at the house was so surreal. Like, that's where we spent our entire marriage. That's where we brought the kids home. That's where he died. So it was just weird, just staring at the house. Where else did I go? Just hung out in that neighborhood for several, where we used to live, for several hours, and just kind of had a me day, like whatever I needed to do to have healing. And it was just such a weird feeling looking around, all these people going like, they have no idea why this day is significant. And again, just like every year, my feelings were hurt because barely anyone reached out, but I'm like prepared for it so it doesn't hurt as bad. But what was really cool is last year, my best friend forgot. And I told her, please put it on your calendar. And this year she remembered. She was even like at an airport going on a trip, but she called me. And that meant so much to me. Another listener, Kim, shout out to Kim Lentz. She sent me the first text of the day, saying that she was thinking of me. Mark and Tina sent me a text. Thank you guys so much. You know, there were people who remembered. And then of course, once I announced it on Facebook, people said stuff, but it was, some of my best friends did not say one word. And that still hurts my heart. So if that's important to you, make sure you tell your friends and family that please reach out to me on that day. Like, it's a hard day. Like, my life was completely altered on that day. And then when I got home, the kids, we went to Red Robin, which is Luke's favorite restaurant. It's what we do every year, but the kids were just kind of in a mood. Haley wasn't feeling well. So it wasn't that great. And we always do this thing. We used to do like share a memory of your dad, and kind of after a few years, we changed it to what would you tell your dad if you were here? And one of my kids didn't want to participate. So it was just kind of a difficult time. It didn't really go well. And then we were having our church home group that night in our house, and Peyton didn't want to participate, and I almost didn't, but I did. But I was just kind of down. Like, that's the truth. I was down on that day. Just imagining what my life would be like if he wasn't gone. So that's a little bit about the 4-year anniversary, but I felt much better the next day. Oh, I reached out to his mom and his sister. I sent them some voice memos that I had recorded of Luke at the very end that I thought they'd never heard. I sent some to my kids I thought they'd never heard. And I shared a video that was like the last pictures I have of Luke. So here's the truth. There were actually pictures after that. When he died, I was taking pictures. I don't know why, but I think it was the day he died. I was like, I don't want these. Like, he wouldn't want me to remember him like this. So I handed my brother my phone and I was like, hey, could you please delete these for me? And he did. So anyways, that's a little bit about that day. We had some other big things happen this week. Haley had awards and won all these awards. She got a scholarship, which is exciting. And we got her financial aid package, and it looks like she will be able to attend Corbin University, which is only like an hour away, where she will pursue a degree as a music teacher, an elementary music teacher, which is perfect for her. She'll sing in the choir because she got a choir scholarship, and also participate in theater. So very excited. We still need to get some more scholarships and some more things to come through, but it looks like it's going to happen. So that's a lot of really cool things that happened. I also joined a gym, which is kind of going to lead into what we're going to talk about today. I have been wanting to do it for a long time. I researched 6 gyms, found the one that had everything I wanted and the best deal. And then they had a special, so I signed up and I love it. I absolutely love Zumba because you guys know I like to dance. And I went today and had so much fun. And then Joel and I went on our first like date to a gym and worked out together and did weights. And so it's been a really cool experience. So enough of me rambling all by myself. So that's a little bit about what's been happening. So sorry if I don't sound as like energetic. Like, usually it's the day, it's night. It's 10:30 at night, the night before the podcast is to come out, and I hadn't done it yet. So here I am. So hold on a second. So what I wanted to talk about today, and it's just going to be quick because it's just me and I don't want to ramble forever. Plus, Joel's sleeping on the couch until I'm done. So I was like, I'll make it quick so you can go to bed. So anyways, I wanted to talk about taking care of yourself when you are a new widow or a seasoned widow. Like, I did a post about this week, and I've been kind of on a new like health journey. And so I've really been passionate about helping specifically widows to be the best they can be, like physically, nutritionally, all of that stuff. So when I was a new widow, I stopped eating for a little bit. I don't know if that happened to you. So my first thing that happened is I lost weight. I remember like, I just didn't even think to eat, didn't cross my mind. And I'd have to remember to feed the kids. They were still younger. I mean, they were old enough to get some stuff on their own. I guess they were like 12, 14, and 15, so they could, but I still was trying to get them food and stuff. But I remember my mom, like, you have to eat. So I lost weight in the beginning. And then I just didn't care. So then I ate whatever I want. It might be ice cream. It might be French fries. It might be like, I just didn't care. You guys, do you understand that? I'm sure you've been there where you're like, who cares? And then you're like, whatever. I don't even have a spouse anymore. I don't care what I look like. Like, I went through all of these things, but it's so much more than what you look like. It's about how are you doing on the inside. Like, I know I feel so much better when I'm physically working out, I'm eating better, I am doing the best that I can do. And so, kind of my journey, yeah, I didn't care. I did care. I started learning about vegetables. Honestly, you could go back to the beginning, and I remember Mark talking about some kind of vegetable, and I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I didn't even know vegetables. I'm serious, serious. Because I feel like, Luke was sick for almost 17 years. I felt like I was in survival mode, like for almost 2 decades. And so I did not try very hard with my health. But as we know, as we really know, health is so important, and it's like the most valuable thing that we have, right? I mean, obviously our salvation first, but as far as like what we have, because it can change in an instant. And so obviously there's so many things that people can't help if it happens to them. But I want to do the best that I can to take care of my body the best that I can to prevent some things. And so I've been on this like journey more recently to really make sure that I'm taking care of what God gave me and taking care of my body, and not just because of weight, but because of I need to put good fuel into my body. So I was a big, before Joel, I was a big like diet A&W root beer drinker. That was my specific one. And he would say things like, oh, it's not good. Aspartame's not good for you. I was like, I don't care. Like, don't tell me that. And so recently I switched to Zevia, which has stevia as a sweetener instead of aspartame. And just making those little switches, yes, it costs a little more, but what Joel always says is we pay now or we pay later, with our health. And so it's worth it to pay for the better things for our body. And so I'm not saying I'm perfect and I never have any diet soda, but I don't bring it into my home anymore where I would drink a lot more of it. There's really important things. In fact, I'm going to read some things that are important that I put in a post the other day just to remind people like what's important and how do you take care of yourself when you're a new widow. So here's some things to consider because you're already in it's like you're in the ICU, right? Your brain is just on overload. You have widow's fog. And so you can't really know what to eat or what to do. So here's some tips. And I put them also, I've made a post about this. And I remember how hard it was to eat when I was a new widow. So taking care of yourself might seem like a big, daunting task, but remember your well-being is crucial. And one key aspect is ensuring you get the proper nutrition to support your body during this challenging time. Here's some tips. Here's a big one. Stay hydrated. Drink plenty of water throughout the day. Hydration is essential. So you can I even posted a picture. I had this like 64 ounce, this was like 2 years ago, 64-ounce thing of water. And I would make myself drink it every day. And now I have like a 32-ounce hydro flask that I try to drink a couple of those a day. But that's really, really important. And you might be forgetting to do this. So this is your reminder. Balanced meals, aim for balanced meals. You want to have mostly protein and vegetables. Like I used to not even know anything about vegetables, but I'll tell you some of my favorites. I love in the air fryer. If you don't have an air fryer, that's a really easy way to get the nutrition that you like to cook things. And so I do roasted cauliflower. I put a little garlic salt on it in the air fryer. I do the same thing with asparagus, broccoli. I eat almost every vegetable now. So that might not be a problem for you, but it was for me. So you want to have mostly lean proteins, some whole grains, some healthy fats and vegetables, and then always having fruit. We keep a lot of fruit around. That's something that my kids will actually eat. They will not touch the vegetables, but they will touch the fruit. And so that's really important. You want to have simple snacks, things like nuts, yogurt, fruit, whole grain crackers, because you're going to want to have something in between your meals. Meal planning, you can do that. I'm going to say I'm still not good at that, so I'm going to skip over that, but it is good. Mindful eating. This is a good one. Try to eat mindfully. Take time to savor your meals and don't just like watch TV and eat. Okay, yeah, I'm super guilty of that one. So many nights after Luke died. One of my stirrups, we've talked about stirrups before. It's the thing I did to escape. It means short term energy relieving behavior. One of them was watching shows, right? Watching series, binging, and then also on top of that, I would just mindlessly eat. Like I took my kids goldfish and ate them a lot. Pretzels, goldfish, just chips, like things that were not great for me. And I'd sit and mindlessly eat while I'm escaping my world, which I will, side note, tell you about a show that I got into, which is actually a really good show, but I was bawling because it's about a widow, Virgin River on Netflix. Okay, the name is because the river is called Virgin River. It's nothing bad. But it's about a widow and her whole like starting over her life. I highly recommend it. Great show. I'm waiting for the new season to come out. You'll be able to relate. If you're widowed, you will totally be able to relate. But I just binged that show and ate and ate. And you don't want to mindlessly eat. Like I try to not eat late. I'm going to say, I mean, sometimes I want a little snack while I watch a show, but I try to make it more like fruit or something like that. So, anyways, be careful of mindless eating. Seek support. Ask your friends to help you. Like, especially right now, you're newly widowed. They're like, what can I do? No, more likely they say, let me know if you ever need anything. So you can be like, hey, I got something specific you can help me with, and tell them your nutrition goals, tell them your health goals, and let them help you. Set reminders to eat. Use your phone alarms if you need to. Like in the beginning, when you're really not eating, you got to keep your body going. You got to keep that fuel going. You got to keep your metabolism going. So if you have to set alarms, set alarms and take these small steps in your nutrition. You want to get a lot of protein. Okay, so I've heard a couple different things. Recently, I heard that whatever your body weight is, you need to divide that in two, and that's how many grams of protein you need in a day. I've also heard everybody needs 100. I don't know. So somewhere in between that number. But we need a lot of protein. And so there are lots of different ways to do that. You can get that, obviously, like my favorite, two things that are my favorite, chicken, roasted, like not roasted, grilled chicken breast. And then you can also get protein drinks that have good sources of protein. And that's another one that I do. And so you want to find ways to get good protein. So now I'm going to switch gears a little bit and talk about the other side of this. So that's the nutrition side of this. But what I think is, I don't want to say more important, equally important, is your physical working out, your physical moving your body. I know if I just get outside, like I feel so much better if it's not raining. I take a walk. In the beginning, I'm going to try to go back to those beginning days. Yeah, it was just getting out and walking. And then eventually I felt like running. I didn't in the beginning. And just getting outside, getting the fresh air and just moving. And that just was so good for your body. Like it's just so good for you. And so that's something I highly recommend. So I recently made a decision to always, and I don't always hit it, but always aim for 10,000 steps a day. So that's really easy to do if you have a tracker. Fitbit is my favorite. You can do Apple Watch or whatever works for you, but I love Fitbit because it's a nice small band and I love the Fitbit like app and all of that stuff, and you can track your sleep and all this stuff. So making a commitment, and it's not as hard as it sounds if you get in the habit of like take a walk in the morning, take a walk. I used to walk all the time on my lunch break when I was a teacher, like every single day. That's also when I was like into losing weight and walking and all that stuff. And so I would literally, and I found a walking partner. So we would walk most lunch and get our steps in. Do whatever you can, park further away. Like if all of this is too overwhelming, like you're like, I'm a baby, I'm a baby widow. That's okay. Just start small. Like just start with 5,000 steps, like something small. But if you want to challenge yourself, I would do 10,000 because that really is going to help you stay healthy. And then the other thing that I just started doing is adding weights. Not like I want to be a bodybuilder, But I have been researching a lot about if you're over 40, which I'm 29. So, I mean, if I was over 40, I would follow these guidelines of getting 10,000 steps a day and doing weight, like resistance training. And so there's a ton of like different programs out there you can follow. But I've just started, I don't have anything official. I'm just doing legs one day and arms one day, legs one day and arms one day. And that has been, I mean, I'm new. Like I've done it like 3 times. So I get sore, but I know it's totally worth it. But you want to make sure you are getting out there. And if you like need help, ask a friend to go walk with you. You know, I have friends. I have like my lunch friends, my walk friends. Like I've got several friends that we go on walks. Find some friends who want to walk with you. And then if you are ready to like commit to this, I'm so excited to share this. We're launching 2 new groups in the month of June for widows who want a little bit of accountability for getting moving. So we have a 5,000 steps a day widows walking challenge and a 10,000 steps a day widows walking challenge. It's kind of like a tongue twister trying to say that. So I'm going to include links to both of them below. We'd love to have you, and you just decide like what is the challenge you want. If you're like, I can barely get out of bed, like I am so like it's hard for me to function, you'd probably want to do the 5,000. If you're like, I can get out of bed, I can do this, I want a little challenge, you're going to want to join the 10,000. And it's just going to be like inspirational videos and like all kinds of things, and a community of widows, like very specific. It's not for anybody. I wanted to create this because we already have a bond when we're widowed, right? And so I was like, maybe we could do something like I want to encourage our widow community to get more active, to be the healthiest we can be. Because you know what? We did not survive the death of our spouse just to sit and do nothing with our lives. And like Satan wants to keep us down, not only emotionally and spiritually, he wants to keep you physically down. Well, I just got goosebumps thinking about this. But we want to encourage you to move, to get out there. Like there's something that I feel alive when I work out. Like I went and did my Zumba this morning and like it was so much fun and it just felt so good afterwards. Well, you get endorphins too. And endorphins will help you in this whole process of your grief. And so I really am passionate because I love all of you. Like you're my people, right? You're my widow peeps. Widows. Anyways, this is just dumb when I'm by myself. I feel so silly just sitting here at night, like talking to myself. But I know you're there. But I just want to encourage everybody. Like, I want us to be the best that we can be. Because if we want to go out, we want to be a domino, right? Like, the domino effect. Like, God has helped us. And then we get help, and then we go help other people. We help other people. And it's just this awesome, awesome thing that happens when we get, I want to say get better, but when God heals our hearts, then we are able to go and help other people. And if we are just stuck, like let's say we're getting better physically, emotionally, spiritually and emotionally, but we're not better physically. We don't want to move. It puts us in a depression sometimes, and we're not able to get out there and be God's hands and feet, right? If we're not able to function. And I feel like this is a tactic of the enemy. And I want to just say, no, we're not going to do that. In the name of Jesus, we're not going to do that. We're not going to be stuck physically. We're going to get out there and we're going to move because it's the best thing for our hearts, like both like metaphorically and our physical heart. And it's good for our bodies. It's good for our whole well-being. Remember, you got to put on your own oxygen mask before you put on those around you. You got to help yourself. Like, you're a widow and you probably got kids that need you and all kinds of responsibilities. And if you don't take care of yourself, and that's moving physically, if you don't take care of yourself, you're not going to be able to take care of anybody else. And so I want to encourage you to take a step and to move. And wherever you're at, if you are someone, you're a brand new widow and you are barely moving, I'm going to challenge you, just get out of bed, take a walk around your block. That's it. Go do it. Like take a walk around your block. That's it. Okay. The next day, take 2, then take 3. And then pretty soon, once you get into the habit of doing it, you're going to feel better. And guess what? When you feel better, you're going to want to do it again, even though sometimes you're like, I don't really love it. That's how I feel sometimes when I'm going to the gym. I don't know if I feel like this. But once I do it, I feel good. And that's what I want for all of us. So I think I'm going to keep it short and sweet because, like I said, Joel's waiting to come and go to bed. So I just wanted to just take this time when I had a time by myself to just talk about why it's important as widows that we take care of ourselves. Because like I said, there's so much like more for you to do. You're here for a reason. This is not an accident. If you're listening, listen to me. This is not an accident. You've still got a purpose. God's got a plan for you. I don't know what it is. You may not know what it is. You probably don't know what it is right now. But God has a plan and a purpose for you. And I'm excited to see what it is. I'm excited to hear more stories of how you were able to, as you got your healing, go out and help others. You know, I look back at the beginning of my widow journey. Literally, I started writing a book for widows when I was 4 or 5 months out. Started a podcast at like 9 or 10 months out. Like, I was a baby widow. I didn't know. I know so much more now, but it didn't matter. Like, I just wanted to do my part and just wanted to help. And I see that with so many other people. I know widows who are just at a year or less than a year that are out there helping other people. And I want that it's not just Mark and I who are helping people, right? You guys are helping people. And it's a worldwide widow helping, WWW, worldwide widow, worldwide widows helping each other. I'm thinking of Jerry Maguire. Is that right? Help me, help me, help me, help you. Help me, help me. Isn't that Jerry Maguire? I don't know. I think it's the Santa Claus. It's one of those. This is me tired. I'm not even making sense. I'm laughing all by myself and it's time to be done. So please join our challenges if you want to be challenged. We'd love to have you. Links are in the show notes, or you can just look up Widows Walking Challenge 10K or 5K, and you'll find us. Also, I think there are links in our widow groups, all the stuff. Also, I've been connecting with more and more listeners, like on Facebook. We're becoming friends. I'm looking at their pictures, getting to know them. Please friend me on Facebook. I'm serious. I want to know you. So just look for Michelle Bader Ebersole and send me a friend request. And as long as you don't look like a creepy stalker, I will probably accept it. No, here's the only ones I don't accept. I got a couple of these last week. The doctor. Like, it's a doctor who says he's widowed, or a weightlifter, a bodybuilder. Like, it's these guys who pretend to be widowed. I've had these creepers since I was widowed try to be my friends. But if that's not you and you're a real person and you're really widowed, ask me to be your friend and we'll connect. So anyways, let me pray for you. God, I just thank you for every single listener right now. And I just pray that you can help us to be the healthiest that we can. You say that our body is a temple of the Holy Spirit. And I just pray that we can do the best that we can to just do the best that we can. And I just thank you for just everybody listening, and pray that we're able to get the proper nutrition and the sleep and the steps and all the things, and that we can encourage each other. Again, we thank you for Mark's recovery, and we continue to pray that he gets 100% recovered. Thank you for all these wonderful widows, and I just pray for continued healing in their hearts, and we just thank you for what you've done. Amen. If you liked this podcast, give it a little bing, 5 stars on Apple Podcast or wherever you listen. Send us a little review and rating if you want. Share us. Join our groups. All the links are in the show notes. Does anybody actually look at show notes? Be real. I do sometimes. Anyways, the links are in the show notes. We love you. And good night. We will see you next time. Have a great day. Wait. Yep, I think that's all I had to say. That's all I got to say about that. Does that sound like Forrest Gump? Okay, you guys are awesome. We will see you next time. Bye.